Joe Blanton, as I said, an outstanding start for him, and his teammates after the game were praising his performance, calling it outstanding. Just haven't seen anything like it all year. I think Raul Ibanez was one of the ones, and just saying you just got to give him credit because he was outstanding today, and he certainly was. 8 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, only allowing 1 home run to Mark DeRosa. His ERA is down to 4.11, but at this point, I'm sure at the end of the year, if he keeps going the way he does, it's going to end up around the 3 mark because he's just pitching really, really well. And Brad Lidge got 1 inning in the 9th inning, just giving up a hit and getting the out there. So the Phillies just played very, very well in this game. Sold out crowd. Hot. They said it was 85 degrees. It was very hot out here in Philadelphia today. But the wind was about 12 miles an hour. As you can see, the ball was definitely carrying out. So a great win for the Phillies today. They wrap up that series. They show the Cardinals who's the better team in the National League. And, you start ranking them and you start thinking the Phillies are up there with Los Angeles at this point. And if you look to the next series that they will face the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Arizona Diamondbacks are not a very good team. They've had a very, very rough season. One of the main things I've noticed about the Diamondbacks is the reason why they're struggling so much is the loss of Brandon Webb is pretty big. He was their ace last year, and he's been out since the very beginning of April. He's had some sort of shoulder injury, and this makes you think if the Diamondbacks will end up picking up his option next year. I think it's about, I don't know if it's about $19 million, but it's pretty hefty. So they are without him this year. The Phillies will face the Diamondbacks. First time this year, they will travel to Citizens Bank Park later in August. On Monday, they will face them at Chase Field. Jamie Moyer will go against John Garland. It's been a cruel month for Garland. He's had really good quality starts. His ERA is about 2.73 in the last couple starts, but he only has 1 win and 2 losses to show for it. So Garland against the Phillies is 0-1 with a 9.90 ERA. So it could be a rough outing for John Garland, but overall he's been good for this Diamondbacks. It's just a very disappointing year for Arizona. On Tuesday they will go up against Dan Herron, who is just absolutely outstanding in terms of the way that he pitches this year. He's 10-5 with a 2.14 ERA. It says to be announced. I believe Cole Hamels will start on Tuesday at this point. I know that they announced it earlier, but Herron has just been really good, and he was a starter. He was in the All-Star game pitching as well, and he's an All-Star pitcher. They will face him on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Jay Happ, if he is still here, of course, for the Phillies, he will go on Wednesday against Yusmeiro Petit. I'm not sure who that is, but he's a guy that'll pitch for Arizona on Wednesday. And like I said, this is a team that doesn't really have Brandon Webb or those other guys that pitched for them last year, like Randy Johnson and whatnot. So they have 2 of the top starters that the Phillies will face starting on Monday night. And on Thursday, they will start a 4-game set against the San Francisco Giants, who are right in the middle of that wild card race, and they'll go against Jonathan Sanchez, who had that no-hitter a couple weeks back. So should be an interesting West Coast trip for the Phillies. Last time they went out in the West Coast was really early this summer when they went to San Diego and Los Angeles. We'll see how they play against these 2 teams. These aren't really the Giants are a very, very good team. They might have some trouble with them, but Arizona, they should easily be able to take 2 of 3 from them. So we'll see how they play. They don't get a day off tomorrow. They haven't had a day off in forever because if you remember, they had the makeup game against San Diego on Thursday. So it should be, we'll see how it goes for them. So we will take a quick break. When we come back here, let's play some music. The phone lines are open, by the way. If you want to call in, the number is 856-227-1360, 856-227-1360 here at WNJC. This is an extended edition of Sports Sunday. I'm Christina Maxwell. When we come back, we'll talk about the trading deadline, the whole thing about Roy Halladay. We'll go over the scores, NBA news, who the Sixers lose this week, and who they will possibly gain in the future. I'm Christina Maxwell. This is Sports Sunday. WNJC, 1360 AM. It's Sports Sunday, extended edition here, 9:17 p.m. here on WNJC. And as we talked about, the Phillies, their great game today. But most importantly is this whole trading business. Like I said, it's just crazy, and it's going to go on until Friday. And you're going to hear so many names being thrown around. And I'd say at least like 65% of them do not get traded. I mean, will Adrian Gonzalez be traded from San Diego? Probably not. Will Heath Bell get moved? Probably not. But these are names and things that get thrown around. And how about the Phillies? And they're really, really in this thing with the Holiday. I mean, they were the front runners for so long, and they got a little bit of breaking news here. No, they have not acquired Doc Holiday. Just to let you guys know, he has not been traded. So next thing, everything I say is pretty crazy, but the bottom line is that he has not been traded yet. Toronto gave a deadline around Tuesday, July 28th would be the deadline for trading Holiday. His next scheduled start is Wednesday at Seattle, so they want to make sure that he doesn't interfere with his last start, and I think that was kind of a self-imposed deadline for Toronto as well as for Holiday as well. And he pitched so well on Friday night, if you remember. I think it was 9 innings of work and that extra innings lost against Tampa Bay, and they had tons of signs up at the where the Toronto plays, Rogers Center, I think it's called, and they had to please JP, keep Doc, and so many signs, and they really don't want to see him leave. And and that's tough because he's not a guy that's asking to be traded. It's just Toronto's just trying to go with the trend or trying to get young guys who really knows. They're not playing well at all, so they're making matters worse by trying to trade their best player. The Phillies, meanwhile, have told the Blue Jays that Kyle Drabek is not in any deal at all. Toronto asked for J.A. Happ as well as Kyle Drabek and outfielder Dominic Brown in this deal, but the Phillies balked at this offer. The Phillies just think that the Blue Jays are asking for way too much, and I have to disagree with that assessment just because of the fact that he's the best pitcher in the league, and you have to ask for the best, and you cannot get a package of just a few minor leaguers who might come up and do just something. I mean, you got to ask for some major league ready talent. I mean, if I was Toronto, I would definitely be asking for one of those outfielders for the Phillies. Why does it have to be a pitching prospect? I mean, of course, they don't want to have a huge contract, granted, because they have enough of them with Rios and Wells and Scott Rowland. They have enough of those big extended contracts. But if you're Toronto, you should have been asking for a guy like Shane Victorino or Jason Worth. But still, the Phillies insist that this deal for asking for Drabek is just too much. Nobody in the Blue Jays organization feels optimistic about it at this point. Even J.P. Ricciardi, the general manager, says the Phillies. This is in the Phillies' court at this point. And even Roy Halladay admits that he doesn't feel like a sense of urgency to be traded, and he just thinks it's 50-50 at this point. He's keeping quiet as he should. Phillies took both Drabek and their top pitching position player Dominic Brown out of this deal. Instead, they submitted a new deal with J.A. Happ and three of their most advanced prospects, which include outfielder Michael Taylor, Carlos Carrasco, and Jason Donald. And Carlos Carrasco was scouted by one of the top advisors for Toronto, Tony LaCava. He was on hand to see Carrasco on Friday night at AAA when he gave up 6 runs in AAA. So the Toronto Blue Jays said that they do not like this offer, and they said they nixed this. They did not want those guys. They wanted Happ or Drabek in the deal. And according to Fox Sports here, said something really new around just 9 o'clock just comes in. Ken Rosenthal just heard from J.P. Ricciardi, and the chances of Holiday leaving Toronto at this point are very, very slim. He says that, quote, "We've said that we would listen, but we would have to be motivated and wowed. Right now, we haven't been. I've said all along that my gut tells me I won't be, and I still stand by that. If we get to the last week, and I certainly haven't made any progress with anybody, I'm not going to say it's 100% certain, but I have to pretty much think that it's not going to be done." And it sure sounds like the Blue Jays aren't going to lower their asking price, and they should not do that at all, because this is a guy that is the best pitcher in the game, and you should be asking for a lot more. And most certainly, I don't know why he was put on the market in the first place, because every time you hear quotes from Ricciardi or Halladay, it seems like somebody's forcing their hand to trade him. And I understand that he's a hot commodity. Of course, why wouldn't he be? But at the same time, you don't have to give up this guy. You could keep him around. He can pitch another 33 starts for you next year. You know, maybe he wants to sign a deal. Who knows? I mean, Toronto started off with a very, very good start. I mean, why can't they do that next year? I mean, it doesn't seem, I know it seems sort of like a lost cause there. I mean, they're a team that doesn't play very well, but they have so many good position players. Why can't they put it together, and why can't they make a run next year with Halladay? Do they have to trade him? I mean, is he demanding this trade? Of course, granted, he probably feels a little emotionally gone from this point just because of the fact that this is a guy, the team that he's been with for so many years, and they just want to dump him like this just because it's the trend. But should they do it? Let's see. As for the Phillies, meanwhile, they're turning their attention to another pitcher here. They have been considering Cliff Lee from the Cleveland Indians. He is a 2008 Cy Young winner in the National League. He would be an alternative to getting Doc instead. And somebody from the Philadelphia Inquirer confirmed this. They also said that the Phillies had a scout watch